Now, project management. Project management meaning that multiple people can communicate. All of your information, you can see like the history of the chat. You can exchange files, all those different types of things. This is really what happens oftentimes in corporate America. Some of you are very familiar with that. Others of you don't have that same background, or you've been out of corporate America for a while, so you haven't seen it. But it allows teams, it's almost like a mixture between messenger and file sharing and everything in one magical place. People can actually edit some of the same documents at the same time. There's notifications if someone's reviewed something and you need to follow up, you can do it. These are 3 tools, and there are many more, but I just want to give you some to look at that you might want to consider. Slack is probably the most popular project management team type tool, okay? Microsoft Teams. So again, if you're already using the Microsoft suite, as we've talked about, then it makes sense for you to use Microsoft Teams. Fleep is another one. It's a little less used, but it's probably one of the easiest ones to get on and start to have conversations. And also from a price standpoint, it's very affordable. And so these are different options you can look at so that your team can effectively communicate. Because oftentimes we send emails and they're great, but if you're emailing, if there's 5 people working on something and people are emailing different people, then having access to that, everyone going through their separate emails, oh, I can't find that, I think it's in spam, it's not very efficient. And sometimes it can even be frustrating. And so having it all in one place, those communications, can be really, really helpful. All right. Now, last one for collaborative projects, Google Docs, Sheets, etc. And what I mean by etc. is, now when we talk about collaborative, we're saying people can actually work on the same work at the same time. And so if you were to go into like Google Drive, because we already talked about Google Drive, and go to add a document, you'll see here you can use Google Docs, which is basically Google's version of Microsoft Word. There's Google Sheets, basically like Excel, and Google Slides, their version of PowerPoint. And what you can do is you can have multiple people working on that same document at one time. And so there's workshops that I have done. Oh, let's get back here. There's workshops that I have done in person where I've had a room of 40 plus people all in one Google Doc, so like a Microsoft Word at one time, all editing that document at the same time, adding their notes based on what I'm seeing, what I'm saying. And you see the page just changing and all these things happening at once. But I'll tell you where the value in that is that let's say that you're having a call with one of your teams or a group of volunteers. It could be Zoom or an actual phone call. We were all on a conference call line. If you're talking about, things that need to be shifted on a document or reviewing something, it's extremely helpful if everybody can log in on their laptop, on their smartphone, because you can do this from a smartphone, or from their notebook, their iPad, whatever else, and can look at the document at once, go over it, and make shifts and changes and tweaks while you're still on the call. Now that's efficient. The other option is Microsoft Teams, which is the Microsoft version of that, where you can also edit their documents at the same time. So again, whichever family you choose, Google, Microsoft, or whatever, try to stick to it as much as possible. Don't jump around too much because it makes more work for you. Keep everything in one place if you can. All right. Now, if you have ever had the amazing experience of trying to get multiple people to commit to a meeting at a certain time, let's say you're looking at 5 or 6 people, trying to get 5 or 6 people on board for the same time is a special type of terrible. And so 2 tools that I would recommend to you to take a look at, one is called Doodle, and the other one is called whenisgood.net. Doodle and whenisgood.net. Now, at the time of this recording, Doodle still has a free version, but it's a little tricky. You just have to click on Create a Doodle, and then it'll take you in there versus the price plans, which are going to try to charge you a little bit. And it's not very expensive, but there still is a free version. Whenisgood.net is free. But to show you what this looks like, so this is me. I just created a sample one, Mennonite Church USA webinar. I give the directions. Please select all the dates that work for you. Thank you. So I emphasize to everyone, you're going to come on here to survey. You check off every single date and time that works for you. So if there's 6 people, each person's going to come enter their name and they're going to check off all of the options that I gave them. There might be times where you give 3 options. There may be times where you give 8 options. And what happens is you can see the date that has the most amount of checks, and then that's the date that you work with because you were able to survey everyone very efficiently. Not only do I use this professionally, I use this on friend get-togethers. If there's more than 3 of us, I send out a doodle. I'm actually known for sending out doodles. My friends think it's funny, but they also think it's efficient.